The South Sea Bubble, when Newton lost to madness. 1. The illusion of infinite riches. In 1720, Britain's most powerful men, nobles, ministers, and even Isaac Newton, fell into a trap disguised as prosperity. The South Sea Company promised trade monopolies with South America, conjuring images of gold, silver, and exotic wealth. In truth, its monopoly rights were trivial, amounting to little more than token slave ships. The scheme was less about trade and more about transforming government debt into speculative shares. Like all financial mirages, it glittered just long enough to bankrupt nearly everyone who touched it. Footnote: the South Sea Company's trade empire was a debt swap in costume, not a shipping empire. 2. How to build a bubble. The mechanics were deceptively simple. Creditors exchanged national debt for shares, lured by the promise of dividends and untold riches. Prices rose because people bought in. More people bought in because prices rose. Parliament, lubricated with bribes and insider shares, did nothing to stop the mania. Even the monarchy itself joined the party, with King George I as governor of the company. By the summer of 1720, shares soared from £100 to nearly £1,000. Farmers, merchants, clergy, and aristocrats mortgaged homes and sold estates to chase the dream. Footnote: bubble arithmetic: demand rises because price rises, and price rises because demand rises. 3. Newton's fall. Newton, the genius who explained celestial mechanics, was no match for herd psychology. He bought early, profited, sold, then, fatally, re-entered as mania peaked. When the collapse came, he lost the modern equivalent of millions. His bitter conclusion: I can calculate the motions of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of men. This remains the most elegant obituary ever written for financial common sense. Footnote: even the greatest scientist of his age could not calculate investor greed. 4. Collapse and consequences. By late 1720, reality punctured the fantasy. The South Sea Company had no real profits, and dividends came from new investors' money, a pyramid wearing powdered wigs. Confidence cracked, panic spread, and shares fell back to £100. Fortunes were annihilated. The powerless lost homes and savings, the powerful, predictably, were cushioned. Parliament members and nobles received quiet reimbursements. The public received bankruptcy notices. Footnote: in bubbles, losses flow downward while privilege floats safely to the surface. 5. Scandal in the Bubble Act. Public fury was volcanic. Inquiries exposed bribery at the highest levels, even the Chancellor of the Exchequer was implicated. A handful of scapegoats were stripped of wealth, but the system itself endured. The Bubble Act of 1720, advertised as reform, in fact protected the South Sea Company by banning unchartered competitors. Regulation, it turned out, was less about saving citizens and more about saving insiders. Footnote: the Bubble Act was not consumer protection, it was competitor protection. 6. The blueprint repeats. The South Sea Bubble was not an anomaly but a template. The dot-com mania of the 1990s, the housing crash of 2008, and recent crypto frenzies all follow the script: promises of revolution, soaring valuations, mass delusion, collapse, and selective rescue of the elite. Each cycle proves Newton correct: intelligence offers no defense against collective madness. Footnote: from 1720 to today, bubbles rhyme because money and power keep recycling the same playbook. 7. Lessons written in pain. The South Sea Bubble teaches 3 simple lessons. First, financial education is survival. If you don't understand bubbles, you will be inside one. Second, promises of effortless wealth are usually bait. Third, real wealth is not hype but value, skepticism, and discipline. History never repeats, but it rhymes with unnerving precision. The rhyme of 1720 echoes in every speculative fever since. Footnote. The only true hedge against bubbles is knowledge, not hype, not hope. 8. Lessons buried in history. The South Sea Bubble, the Great Depression, Japan's lost decade, and the 2008 crisis all reveal the same DNA: financial systems requiring endless new entrants and endless faith until reality intervenes. The terminology may differ: stimulus, growth, quantitative easing, but the logic is unchanged. Footnote. Economic history is a recurring cycle of pyramid schemes disguised with fresh terminology. 9. The present reckoning. Global debt now exceeds $300 trillion, 3 times annual world output. Governments, economists, and bankers insist the solution is more debt, an addict's answer to withdrawal symptoms. The structure stands only because shutting it down would crush its participants. Everyone knows it resembles a pyramid, but no one dares admit it aloud. Footnote. The global economy runs on borrowed time, propped up by borrowed money. 10. Conclusion: spotting the pyramid. The system is not built for individual benefit. It is engineered to preserve itself. Bailouts, inflation, and perpetual debt are features, not flaws. Real wealth lies outside, in assets, skills, and independence less vulnerable to collapse. Once one recognizes the pyramid, its inevitability becomes clear: no structure demanding infinite growth can last. When the base shrinks, the fall is brutal. Footnote. True financial freedom comes from understanding the pyramid, not climbing it.